calm and peace. A little bit of nurture, a little bit of supports. I'm Catherine. I'll guide you through class today. I always like to say, do what serves you. If it doesn't work in your body or you just don't feel like doing it, skip it. There's no judgment here. Come on in. Cool. I'm not the only one running today, so we've got last minute people coming. Connie, welcome. Sorry. No worries. We're all running just a bit late. Hey, Patsy. Let's settle in. Feel the supports underneath the body, whether you chose blocks or a blanket. Feel that slight little lift along the back of the spine. That opening through the front of the spine. Where the arms land, where the legs land, purely your choice. You can extend them. You can find a little Supta Baddha Konasana, bound angle on our back. The focus here is just breathing into that support underneath you. Taking the next couple of breaths to check in with the thoughts. Let go of any negative thoughts, any worries or frustrations, anything you're holding on to, just set them aside. If you want them back after class, you can always pick them up again. But let's leave them off to the side for this time we have together. Taking the next couple of breaths to really notice the exhalation. Inviting that exhalation to be a count or a beat longer, maybe even 2 beats, 2 counts longer. And notice what that does for your body. Do you feel this surrendering, this softening, this spreading out along the mats? With each exhale. That's the yin side of the breath, the calm side of the breath. And then shift the awareness to the inhalation. Feel that expansion along the top of the body with each breath. Feel the energy you're drawing in, the peace and the calm, but this little bit of activity. That's the yang side of the breath, preparing us for movement. I'm going to invite you to stay on the prop if that suits you. Bend the knees, place the soles of the feet on the mats, and then bring your hands to the belly. I'm going to slide the fingers along the soft parts of the belly, but I want to feel that iliac crest, the bony parts of the hips. This is going to look different. It's going to feel different for each of us. What we're doing here is a self-assist. Can you breathe into that space under the hands and inflate it? And then draw it in as you exhale. A lot of times we refer to this as a belly breath or a deep diaphragmatic breath. But I've got my hands along the hips. I want to begin to recognize or maybe even have this awareness of the transverse abdominis muscle. It's the one that wraps around the waist like a corset or a girdle. With every breath, we are pushing that muscle apart. With every exhale, we are squeezing it back in. Begin to notice that we breathe not just on the front side of the body, but also side to side. Can you feel it broaden right to left? And if you're here and you're like, what the heck is she talking about? Just stay with the breath. You are affecting it even without me pointing it out. But sometimes we're kind of curious. Why is she having us do this? There's space for wherever you are. The next time you exhale, imagine drawing everything in, holding that in. I like to think of the belly button as if it were a black hole and everything's kind of sucking in, it's melting into the center of that black hole. Try to keep that engagement and add some pelvic tilts. Roll the tailbone toward the heels and then tuck the tailbone, curl it up toward the knees. Just rocking back and forth along the hips, but maybe exploring maintaining that engagement of the muscles along the abdomen. The next time the tailbone kind of curls up to the knees, you're going to pause and hold that. You might notice the low back becoming heavy toward the mat. We're going to maintain the curve of the pelvis, maintain the engagement of the abdomen, but add movement in the knees. Let one knee dip out to the side, draw it back up, and alternate side to side. Doesn't matter how much you open. Here we're focusing on this engagement through the core. It's a funny term, right? It's engagement through the middle, through your stabilizing point within the body. The next time your right knee opens, pause there. Keep the engagement. We're going to lift the right foot from the floor, hovering the leg out as if it was a little half floating cobbler or butterfly pose. Notice if you're rocking to the right side into the right bum, keep engaging through the abdomen. Feel everything kind of tighten up underneath the hands if your hands are still there. We're going to move the leg, the foot, and the knee as if it were one unit, which it is. We're going to lift the leg up and then lower the leg down. So we're keeping that little butterfly. Maybe you think about the shin or the calf muscle, lifting and lowering. All the while staying aware of what's happening in the abdomen. I'm going to go for about 6 sets. The tendency for a lot of us is the knee to lift faster than the foot. Ooh. Put the foot back down on the ground, lift the knee up to the sky. Let the belly sag, let the arms come out. Notice the difference again between engagement through the abdomen and softening through the abdomen. If you like the tactile reminder, feel free to return your hands back to the hips. We're drawing everything into that little black hole. Open the left knee out to the side. There's your little half butterfly wing. And then as you're ready, lift the foot from the floor, hovering, thinking about paralleling foot and knee. And then let the shin or the calf lift and lower. Seems like this would be really simple, but I know I'm asking a lot of you. So just hold on to the parts that work for you. Feel the movement. In studio, y'all are rock stars. When you finish up that sixth one, release the foot, lift the knee. Roll to one side, doesn't matter which. We're just gonna slide our materials out to the sides, remove the props. And then return to the back. That base position, soles of the feet on the floor, knees to the sky, spine resting against the back. Take the palms and slide the palms up the thighs toward the hips, that little hip crease. And then press the palms into the hips. I'm going to hold that tension, that press. Maybe even think about pelvic tilts here. Some of you might like to massage that, maybe shift the palms. Maybe they go more to the outer hips, keeping the pressure. Maybe they come more inward to the legs, keeping the pressure. And then release. Hug the right knee into the chest, draw it in really, really close. You've got the option to extend the left leg or to keep it bent, your choice. Connect to the breath as you exhale, hug the knee in as close as you can. As you inhale, let the breath kind of puff and push the knee away. Again, coming into that deep belly breath. Noticing the pelvic tilt with that breath, feeling the constriction at the hip. Keep it drawn in as close as you can. Hold it there with your arms and begin to circle through the ankle. Take maybe 3 circles, one direction and 3 in the other. Perhaps wiggling the toes simultaneously. And then slide the hands around to the back of the leg, the hamstring. Use the arm strength to keep drawing it in. Add some compression there. Keeping the thigh in nice and close to the tummy. Extend the right leg and bend. Again, let go of the idea that you have to straighten the leg or that any expectations or any goals, could you set those aside today and just stay with the movement? The next time the leg extends, pause there. Now press the leg into the hands, lengthen through the elbows. Want to feel the leg pressing into the hands, and the hands, the fingers pulling the leg back. There's a heaviness of that right leg sinking into the hip. If you've got a really short skeleton and your arms are pretty short, the leg's going to look like it's super close to the body. And if you've got a long skeleton and the arms are long, it's going to look like it's far away. Be okay with that. Another breath. Hug the knee back in, release the hands. Take that right hand, or even actually take the left hand to the shin. Right arm comes out to the side. So we've got a little cross body movement. We're going to drag or press that right knee down toward the armpit. Even lift the left hip. And then take the leg across the body. Lift the right bum cheek. You might straighten the right leg. So we're moving in between half happy baby and a little supine twist. Sometimes when we're all lying on our back and the instructions are muddied in our mind. It's nice to just remember that if you're moving and you're breathing, if you're feeling it anywhere, you are doing it. That is yoga. We'll meet one another in the supine twist. The right leg stretches across the body. We can release the arms, take them out like a W or a little goalpost arm. Pause there for a moment. Whether the leg is bent or straight, doesn't matter. And then take the right hand, that's the one slightly behind your back. Reach for where the thigh and the hip meet and press that point away. So just like we did that palpation or that palpitation, that movement, that pulsing, since I don't know my words, we're trying to make space there in the hip. We're moving the thigh and the hamstring away from the hip. And then release. Roll onto your back. Left leg gets hugged in, draw it in. Whew. Squeeze it in. And again, you've got the option for that right leg to stay bent or to lengthen. As we connect to the breath, we connect to the bend in the knee, the crease in the hip. And we circle through that left ankle. Remembering circles in both directions. Several breaths where we're using the activity of the arms to squeeze the leg into the chest. And then release the fingers, slide them around the back of the leg. Whew. Extend and bend through the knee. We're purposely trying to keep that thigh close to the belly, getting a really deep stretch around the hamstring and the bone. The next time that leg extends, press the leg into the hands, straighten the arms. Really shift the leg away from the belly, but feel the arms drawing the muscle back in, noticing. Mindfully bending the knee, half happy baby, drawing that knee down. And again, we're reaching across the body for the shin. So right hand to the left shin. And we're using the body, just the movement to rock to the right hip into that supine twist, rolling back onto the left hip for half happy baby. If you've practiced with me at all in the past 2 weeks, this is like my favorite movement. It finds its way into almost every class I'm teaching. The next time you make your way into that supine twist, pause there. Take the left hand, slide it into the hip crease, press the hip away. Yes. You can take the hand, sometimes it's just the thumb that fits in there. We're making space, leveling out the hips. And then releasing, returning on to the back. Take up space on the mats. Little supine star shape or a starfish pose. Reach the arms out wide, reach the legs out wide, and the head makes the fifth point of the star. I want you to really stretch and extend, and then soften. Let it kind of plop back down. Stretch and extend, and soften. Take that 2 more times. Perfect. Return to base pose, feet on the floor, knees to the sky. Spine stable and neutral. Bring your hands back to that transverse abdominal muscles, resting on the little hip flexors or the hip points, actually. Lift one foot from the ground as if you were seated in a chair, but only one side is there, a little half. We're going to tap to the right foot down and then lift back up again. Coming back to that idea, that concept of the black hole, sinking everything in. Gathering the energy into the center of the body. The next time the right foot comes down, land it, shift to the other side. Almost like we're marching in place, kind of like that. We will march in place in just a minute. So this movement seems super simple. I encourage you to slow it down and think about the engagement, drawing everything in. Next time the knee is stacked over the hips, pause. Lift the other foot, stacking over the hips. Draw everything in. Feel that engagement. And then as if we're marching, one heel goes down and lifts, the other one alternating. Notice where you're tensing up. Can you soften through the neck? Can you soften through the jaw? Can you feel the shoulders press against the back? Are you breathing? If you're still with me, take one more both sides. And then set it back down, base pose. Release the arms. Draw the knees into the chest and take a little side to side motion. We're preparing to transition, moving into tabletop pose. You can roll to your side and press up. You could roll along the spine. Kind of curl up and around. Take as much movement as you need. When you arrive, let's gather those two blocks. Place them at the top of the mats. Coming into your tabletop pose. Finding some movement through the spine. That can be something super simple like a cat and cow or shifting of the hips. You've got permission to stay engaged through the abdomen or to soften. Give yourself a breather. From tabletop, as you exhale, shift back to child's pose. As you inhale, lift back into table. Take 3 more of those, just flowing with the breath. Maybe even exaggerated on this one. Maybe you shift forward and the hips sink down a little bit, and then you rock back. Take 2 more with that extension through the legs. Next time you come forward, lower the hips, lower the belly, lower the chest. Keep the arms in position. Squeeze the elbows in toward the chest. You can rest the forehead on the mat. You can rest the chin on the mat. We're going to bring awareness to the feet and the legs. Working one leg at a time. I'm going to start with the right side. I'm going to curl the toe prints, press the toe prints into the ground, and lift the right leg from the mat.
And then actively press that right heel away from the body. You can take little pulses, you can stay with the press. And then release the thigh, untuck the foot. Be like, wow, that's a difference. Take the other one. Tuck the toe prints, press them to the ground, lift the leg, really reach back with the heel. So I even like the toe prints on the ground. Yeah, now just actively shift back with that heel. Do you feel the hip flexor lengthening?
Yeah.
Okay, is it too much? Okay, release it back down, find the length. Perfect. A couple of flowing cobras here. Press into the hands and lift the chest. Lower back down. Invite the spine to kind of move like a wave. And then the next time you press up, we'll shift back, tabletop pose. Readjust, you might have to walk the knees forward a little bit so they're underneath the hips. Right leg, step it forward. Find your blocks. Very familiar shape, just shift forward and back. The blocks are under the hands to help lift the belly away from the leg. So your height of block is your choice. The next time the knee stacks over the ankle, pause there. Excellent. And then press into the blocks, lift the body all the way up, keep the knees stacked over the ankles. We're gonna let our arms be really long and heavy here. Let the right arm and shoulder drop down to the right, a little side bend. It just becomes heavy. And then draw everything into the abdomen and take that to the other side. So we're shifting side to side. Trying our very darndest not to move through the feet or the legs. And that comes from stabilizing the transverse abdominis, that middle muscle that holds everything in place. The next time your right hand comes down, let it be heavy. If you can touch the floor, great. If not, grab that block. We're going to press into the floor, the ground, reach the left arm up and overhead. Bring the bicep in line with the ear. We're moving just through the side, so try not to curl forward, just side bend. Squeeze the hips together, engage through the abdomen. And then a big sweeping motion, that top arm is going to do the movement. Swing it forward and around as if you're just taking everything off the table. Reach it up and overhead, find the side bend. A little bit of movement, swing it forward and around. Kind of feels fun, right? Are you balanced still? Don't forget those feet. Excellent, let's do one more. Perfect. Release the hands back down, step the right foot back. Prepare for the other side, left leg steps forward. And again, this simple rocking motion, shifting forward and back. Are you popping?
Yeah, it was a good pop.
You know, we have these blankets here. If you want to slide a blanket under the knee, you're always welcome to. As I hear the popping of the kneecaps or fold the mat over. Next time, ankle stacks over the knee, or no, other way around. Knee stacks over the ankle. Let's lift up. Draw everything in, suck it all in. And that heavy motion, arm down to one side and then the other. Rocking side to side, but feeling that engagement. That's what keeps us balanced. The next time your left hand goes down, find the mat or a block. Reach the right arm up and overhead. Press into that left hand. Find space through both sides of the rib cage. We're moving laterally. Try not to round forward or puff out backwards. And then space for that movement. Floating arm, right arm does it. Shift it forward, swipe everything off the table, reach it back up and over. Really large, exaggerated movements. One more, please. Slide the hands down to the block. We're going to transition to stand. So I'm going to move my blocks forward, tuck the toes, press into that front foot, step forward. Find a half lift with blocks or hands at shins or on the floor, whatever's comfortable for you. Pause in the half lift. Think about the thighs. Can you press them back? Think about the crown of the head, the top of the head. Can you reach it forward? So legs and head are moving in opposite directions, finding length through the spine. Notice how much has to fire up to hold this in place. Can you engage through that abdomen, lengthen and strengthen simultaneously? And if you're feeling feisty, shift one hand back behind you. Keep the half lift. Reach the other hand back behind you. Woo, 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 right? Did you feel the thighs fire up? Because you got to press them back. Palms might be up to the sky. If you're still with me, pulse the palms up, 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 up. One more. Release. Forward fold, bend the knees. Nod the head, yes. Who knew such a shape that we take in almost every class could have so much activity, right? Press into the feet, lift all the way up. Reach the arms up and overhead. I'm gonna step way away from my mat just so that we can see. I've got a head, I promise. Press into the feet. Shift the weight back to the heels. Shift the weight forward to the ball of the foot. Think about floating all 10 toes, hovering them above the ground or the mat. Spread through the toes. Do you get your butt to fire up right there? Release the 10 toes back down to the ground. Now add a little twist here. So roll the chest to one side, take the hands, sway them down. You might even tap your body. Reach the hands up, draw the breath up, return to center, rotate to the other side. We're going to take several really slow here. Legs stay still. The torso is revolving. The hips might feel like they're revolving, but we're trying really hard to keep them facing the short edge of the mat. Last one. Perfect. Pause with the hands on the body and now just swing the arms side to side. Tap the hips, the thighs, the bum. There's a lot of lymph nodes right there along the inner groin. And there's no disposal system. There's no pathway. They get stuck there. So this tapping is allowing those lymph nodes, that passageway, to the fluid just to break up. Take care of themselves. And then come back through center. Okay. I am in the middle of the room. I trust my balance. You are always welcome to go to the wall. We're just going to kind of explore a little bit here. Keeping that idea of the transverse abdominis kind of glued in together. Shift your weight to the left foot, lift the right, hover it. Shift it slightly forward. Make it forward enough that you could make a circle with the ankle. And then set the foot back down. Do it to the other side. Right foot roots, left foot shifts forward. It hovers. Maybe you make that circle. And then you set it back down. Perfect. Shift again, left side. Adding on. Right foot hovers, lift it up. Now, without hands, bend the knee and hug that knee into the chest. Mimic what we were doing on the floor in that Ardha Appanasana, half wind relieving pose, and then set it back down. Try that on the other side. Right foot roots, left knee lifts. Whew. Hug it in, draw it in, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze that hip flexor muscle, draw it in as close as you can. Set it down. Okay. Adding on. Each one is going to get a little bit more. You take what serves you. Root into the left foot, lift the right knee. Find that half Appanasana, that Ardha Appanasana. Draw it in. Now, maybe you move into half happy baby. The foot goes forward, the knee goes toward the armpit, and then you set it down. Everybody breathing?
Yeah.
Okay. You can tell I'm breathing faster, my voice is getting louder. I'm like, oh, it's a little harder than I thought. Press into the right foot, hug the knee in. Oh, there it is, there it is. Move into half happy baby. So that knee goes to the armpit, the foot lifts, squeeze it in, and then release. Okay, left side roots. Right knee lifts. Half happy baby. Whew. I got to tap down here. Excellent. This time, send the foot down to the ground. Keep the knee bent. The knee's coming down to the ground. Foot's going behind you. I want you to pulse the heel, try to kick the bum. Keep the heel drawn in as much as you can. Think about pulsing the knee back. When you're done with that side, release it, let it go. Try it on the other side. Know that if you forget any part of it, that's okay. Any movement you do here is activating, strengthening. If you fall out, you come right back in, find the next shape. Eventually release it. Widen the feet a little bit wider than your normal Tadasana. Take a half salute. Circle arms up and fold. Half lift with or without hand support. Maybe you stretch the hands back like we practiced. Yeah, fold again. Press into the feet, lift all the way up. We'll repeat that one more time, moving with breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Rise up. Keep the arm, actually release the arms, take them back down. Either going to be a little bit wider, just like before. Moving into a bit of pranayama, a bit of breath practice. Breath of joy. Right? We all need a little bit more joy in our life. It's a really simple breath. It's 3 inhales and then an exhale, but there's an arm movement with it. So as I inhale, arms reach forward. As I inhale again, arms widen like a T. As I inhale the third time, arms reach up. Exhale, shoot the arms back, sit back like you're skiing, bend the knees, sink the hips. Yeah, perfect. That's it. Inhale, arms forward. Inhale out. Inhale up. Exhale. Again, in, out. One more, please. It's kind of fun, right? Okay. Bend the knees so much, maybe the toes go out, heels go in. We're transitioning down through a squat. When you can go no more down, take the hands, support yourself. Bum comes to the ground. We lay all the way out. Couple of breaths here in a mini Shavasana. Notice the way the breath has affected your body. That joy, that celebration. Invite the abdomen to soften, to spread here. Give it a little bit of peace. We're going to move through some boat poses, so I promise we'll activate it again. Give it a rest here first. And then as you exhale, draw everything in right there at the center. Keep that engagement. Bring the arms up to the ceiling or even back behind the head, your choice. We're going to think about moving from lying to our back into an L shape. Keeping the engagement of the abdomen, arms shifting forward and pulling forward will help lift the body up. Yep, and then lower back down. Now, sometimes we can get up off the ground. Sometimes it's just like, hey, I'm 1/3 off the ground. I'm going to stay there. Reach the hands forward, separate through the shoulders. See if you can lift up. Take another one. We'll meet one another seated. Perfect. This time, bend the knees, place the heels to the floor. I like toes to the sky. Little bit of boat pose. I'm going to keep my hands on my thighs, but hands are optional. You can always stretch them out if you'd like. Shift the body back. You're looking for your center of gravity, that balancing point. Think about spreading across the chest as if we had that little prop underneath our back like the beginning of class. When you've got that, lift a foot, lift 2 feet. If you start to curl in on the chest, come back up, reset. We're just lingering here, keeping the chest opening and lifting. I love my friends exploring no hands. Connie's exploring extending the legs. She's kind of rocking it right now. Cool. Remember to breathe. Yeah. Set the heels back down. Let the belly and the chest kind of just roll over the legs. Find a little movement through the neck. Okay. Little boat variation. Starts the same way. We find the balance. We open up through the chest and we hover the knees. My teacher, Linda, calls this octopus. So I want you to think of your limbs, your legs and your arms moving around like you're swimming in the ocean. Make as much movement as you can. Play around. Challenge your balance. If you're circling, circle in both directions. If you're moving one leg at a time, maybe you move both legs at the same time. Take up space. And then land, maybe in Baddha Konasana, maybe you return to that softening just over the thighs. Invite the body to forward fold, to round through the back any amount. Invite the belly to just soften and release. Let's lift up again. Use hands to support the knees if they're out. Lower onto your back. We're going to take one more little movement I like to call hacky sack. It's strength building. It's one of those where people are like, you want me to do what? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to think about sliding my heels away from the bum just a bit. So they don't have to be really close. And then I'm going to move into figure 4. Right ankle clips left thigh. Take a couple of pulses here with the right knee away from the body, into the body. You can use your hand or just use the active strength. And then I'm going to place my right hand, if you haven't used it yet, slide it against the right leg. What we're doing there is holding that right knee in space. The tendency, what you're going to want to do is to bring the knee in towards you. And I'm going to say, no, 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 no. You keep that knee away from you. Think about engaging the muscles and lifting just the right ankle from the leg.
and then tapping it back down. Yeah, some of you are like, you want me to do what? Right? That's the challenge. Now, if you're like, I can't lift it at all, I can only imagine lifting it, slide your heel away further. So that left heel moves away from the body. If you're like, a piece of cake, Catherine, slide the heel in closer and try it. I like mine a good distance away. We're just pulsing, lifting the right ankle without moving the right knee. Uh-huh. And then release that. So what we're doing there is actively engaging a muscle that most of us, unless you play hacky sack, you probably don't use it that way. You're activating the strength in the external rotation of the leg. Just a fancy way of saying, ooh, that was fun. Let's explore it on the other side. Left ankle clips over the right thigh. Find the soft pulses, knee away, knee together. Just shifting away. So that's the range of motion. That's what movement you have. But we want to strengthen that range. So we press the leg away, try not to move the knee, just lift the ankle and tap it back down. And again, you can adjust the foot on the floor, further away or closer in. A little hacky sack movement. That's a sweat thing. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make y'all sweat. Sorry, not sorry. Release that. Take a little mini Shavasana. Take up space. Maybe you return to that star and you lengthen it through the body. You extend and then you soften. Let the energy be absorbed in. You gather it with the extension and you let it go into you with the release. Perfect. Keep the right leg long on the mat. Hug the left knee into the chest. We're going to reach across with the right hand, move into a little supine twist. Let the knee come down a whole lot. Don't worry about the shoulder lifting from the ground. So we're focusing on the knee coming to the floor. And then bring your awareness to the bottom leg. Can you bend the bottom knee? Can you bring that foot in toward the bum? You might pause here. Kind of looks like a little deer twist, supine twist. If you're feeling kind of feisty or stretchy or bendy or just want to explore, you can move in a cat pulling its tail. The hand behind you, that left hand, is going to reach around for the right foot. We're going to think about drawing the whole right thigh back. Now, cats can usually reach their tails, but dogs can't. Have you ever seen a dog just kind of chasing its own tail, running around in circles and circles and circles? So if you can't find the foot, the tail of the body, just let it go. Settle into the supine twist. You don't have to be like the dog. Take several breaths right here. If you're holding on to the foot, let it go. Bring awareness to the left arm. We're going to invite it to make circles. Reach the left fingertips past the head. Curl the left arm forward. Maybe the two hands brush. Send that left hand down by the hips. Circle it around behind you. So make these really full, big circles, inviting the spine to unravel and then twist back up. Invite the head to get a little massage. Take those circles in the opposite direction. Reaching through that left arm.
The next time the arm goes back behind you, land in the supine twist once more.
Just observe. Does that left shoulder come down to the ground? Is it any bit closer? Ooh, interesting. Slide the legs together, stack them together, roll on to your back. Left leg goes long, right knee gets hugged in. Take the left hand, draw that right knee across the body. Again, knees heavy, let the shoulder float. Explore bending the bottom leg, kicking toward the bum, maybe even a couple of pulses here. And then just like before, decide, are you going to be the cat reaching for the tail, reaching for that bottom foot? Or are you going to be like the dog and let it go and just settle in? Your choice. Several breaths in the supine twist. And just like before, it's the back arm, the right arm that starts the circle. Reach it overhead. Roll it around past the other arm, down toward the hips and behind. Giving the spine and the body this permission to just move and stretch. Letting the circling be the destination, rather than an end pose be the destination. Eventually take those circles in the opposite direction. The next time that top arm circles back behind, pause there. Keep the knee heavy and notice, did you create more space? Is that shoulder heavier to the ground? Isn't that interesting? Inviting the journey to be as important as the destination. When you feel complete with that, roll on to the back. Set up for your final resting pose. Could be Shavasana on the back traditionally. Could be seated, legs up the wall. You'll hear the pitter patter of my feet as I turn the overhead lights off. Just take your time, settling in. Invite the mind to notice the exhalations. Each exhalation being a beat or two longer. Each exhalation leading us in to softening, to surrendering.
Oftentimes, this is the most challenging shape. The stillness, the letting go, finding peace. It's the reason why we practice it at every class. We hope that each time we find a little bit of the joy. Shift the awareness to the inhaling breath, gathering in the energy that we need to move forward in our day. Each inhaling breath expanding and growing within us. Adding a bit of movement, a wiggle, a shift, a stretch. Anticipating that as you're ready, we'll make our way to a seated shape, any accessible seated shape. When you arrive there, maybe you take some circles through the neck or rolling of the shoulders. Gather length along the spine. Reach the arms out, lift them up and overhead. Slide the palms together to rest at the heart or on the lap. A moment for gratitude. For showing up, for moving, for playing and exploring, for engaging, for strengthening and stretching.